Welcome, everyone. My name is Sarah Ray from the Bloomfield Public Library. Thank you for joining us tonight for Cryptocurrency 101 with Dr. Dhar. I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. So hello, everybody. My name is Paramita Dhar. I am a associate professor in economics in Central Connecticut State University. So what you're going to get from me or learn from me is basically some really 101, like, what is this crypto world? And as I was telling Sarah, the more I read about it, more confused I get. So I will invite you to that confused world. So take whatever you learn. I mean, take your decision if you want to venture into this world or not. So, so I'm here to tell you about the basics of cryptocurrencies. So really, like, go through the backdrop, how the history behind it, how it came along, and then talk to you about the pros, the cons, all about that. I'm not a professional investment advisor, so I would refrain from giving any sort of advice on investment. Okay. So now, so what is cryptocurrency? So it is a digital currency in which transactions are verified and records are maintained by a decentralized system using cryptography. And as we know, crypto is like codes. So using the word of codes and instead of a centralized authority. So what it means is that centralized authority is government, banks. So here, in the world that we live in the more traditional world, like how we deal with our finances, how we do transactions, not investment or anything, just regular transactions, buying, selling stuff, and keeping money in the bank. We keep money in the bank. So bank is that centralized authority which keeps tab of all these transactions, basically. So if I want to pay someone writing a check, I can always pay by cash. And then that cash is also issued by a central authority, which is the government. So fiat currency, which is the more traditional currency, the dollar bills, or any currency of that particular country is stamped by the government. So basically, this cryptocurrency is challenging this notion, and it wants to just surpass all these bureaucracy, government involvement, all that stuff, and want to really be self-sufficient in terms of maintaining the tabs, maintaining the records in a decentralized manner. And how do we, like, what would substitute the banks? Like, what we need? Um, what system can we have? That system is through um, a decentralized system, basically, which is machines. Okay. So what it means is, I'll go into the process of how, I'll go into this detail of how this thing works. Just a moment. One of my windows is kind of bothering me. I'm trying to get this off. No, it doesn't go away. Sorry about that. So it all started. So I'm going into the details of how any system, any algorithm can substitute for banks. We'll come to that in a moment. But I wanted to go into that history, like how it all started. So it was right during the financial crisis that that happened. The housing market crisis and all that happened around 2007, 2008. So that time people were getting disillusioned with what was happening, right? And so people were losing money. We know all of that, right? Like actually better than me. I was in grad school trying to figure out, like trying to understand all this in theory. But at that time, the homeowners and all they face the brunt. And as we know, that we are the taxpayers, and ultimately, whatever happened, we lost money in terms of the government spending and all that. Whatever government tried to do to help out was paid for by taxes. So at that time, it was on Halloween that this paper, this 9-page white paper came out, and as cryptic as it could be, this is that paper where, as you could see, this is a 9-page paper. This is very technical. I try to read. I have read the paper, but it's very, very technical. And from my background of studying economics, this is way more technical for me. This is all like algorithms and computer science and all that stuff. So what happened during that time. So this paper, this name, first of all, we know, like from any academic background, anybody, for any academic paper, the author, author's name should be the one who has written it. But this author's name is fictitious. It's a pseudonym. Nobody really knows who this person or group of people, he or she, nobody knows who this character is. And this came out in 2008 on Halloween, and till now we have no idea who that person is. But that person has the maximum number of bitcoins. I'll come to that. What are bitcoins? In that person's kitty, but none of them have been claimed yet. So we will go over. So that paper goes over this kind of the system, like how we can have this decentralized system to work, and the token, the digital currency that will be exchanged, so compared to dollar bills, is bitcoins. And another thing is that we know that money, like dollar, any money supply, any money that any country issues, doesn't have any upper limit. Like the government has every right to print money, and it will be disastrous if it keeps on printing money. But there's no upper limit. But this system, bitcoins, is capped. Like the paper says that there could be only a certain number, like 21 million number of coins ever. Like you cannot surpass that. Like that is the basic framework of this system, that the number of bitcoins is capped at 21 million. By now, so Bitcoin trading started, late 2009, 2010, but and till now, 19 million, so 488,893.75 coins have already been supplied. So this number that you see, I noted it down this morning. If I check it now, it's going to give me a little bit different number, because every day 900 new bitcoins are created. Again, who is doing that? Whoever can understand this technology, and which is explained in this paper. They are called miners. They are these technical people. They are the ones who are involved in this kind of Bitcoin production and mining. There's the Bitcoin production that is called, and they do that. I'll explain why they do that in a moment. So already 92%, 92.8, almost like 93% Bitcoins out of this 21 million has been issued. But there is an algorithm. It says that it will take until 2030 to reach that limit. We don't know what happens after that. several people asked me this question. I had this question as well. I tried to do as much research, but there's nothing. There's no clarity what will happen after that. But the reason why this 21 million cap is there is because to challenge this fiat money concept where the government can print as much money as they want. So here it is trying to say that that this is limited in quantity and we have to work with this limited number of bitcoins. That's the framework. So this is that 9-page paper I just talked about, and again, we don't know who the author is, but there were people who started to work on this system because they understood they had the necessary expertise to do that. Basically, computer science, IT people, they could handle those. This is really like very deep, algorithm type of stuff. I have no idea. So they basically, whoever had this expertise, they started venturing in this kind of system, and things started rolling. And they had a community also. So basically, they just like you have forums like now on Facebook or like other places where we just talk. Earlier, it used to be through emails, but now it's very easy to find forums on a certain topic where people discuss about certain things. So here also, the technicalities were discussed by these people, and they started working on them. Now, this is the framework of this underlying system that I'm talking about, underlying technology that is used for this system. So basically, the system that is the technology that is substituting central banks or the banking system is blockchain, where it's a ledger, it's a decentralized ledger where again, this is open source. So anybody, as I said, like whoever has the expertise can understand how to go into the system. They can go. If there is no restriction from using this kind of technology, you just need to have know-how. So basically what happens, this is called blockchain technology, and it's not limited to bitcoins. It is used in fund transfers, settling trades, voting, many places. So what is this technology? So it's a decentralized ledger of all transactions across a peer-to-peer network. Again, computer terms. Using this technology, participants can confirm transactions without the need for a central certifying authority, which is the banks. So again, if I'm paying Sarah writing a check, then I would use a checkbook and I would write a check addressed to her. But then who is keeping, and I give it to her, who is keeping tab of this transaction? The bank. The bank is going to issue the check if I have necessary funds. Then it will deduct that amount from my account and pay Sarah. This thing is done by the blockchain technology in a decentralized system. So technology is basically, substituting other things. As when we could not do like this one also, like in-person interaction has been substituted by this kind of a virtual meeting, right? So technology is making it possible. Similarly, technology is making these kind of transactions possible. So how will it work? So if someone requests a transaction, so suppose instead of writing a check, I want to pay Sarah by bitcoins, then if I want to do that, I need to have an account where I have bitcoins, and there are different exchanges where you can have your crypto account, Coinbase and all. I'll go over that in a moment. So if I want to pay Sarah, I would request it. I would request a transaction that is going to send out signals that this transaction has been initiated. So this is this peer-to-peer network, and that that transaction will get validated by some miners. So basically, the technology has the technology has the capacity. So basically, the miners who are working, so there are people who are working with this technology, right? So these people, they are checking to see that if this transaction can be validated or not. And once it's verified, it's going to create a block. Why is it called a blockchain? Because all this information, all this new information is getting stored in a block, and there are multiple blocks, and these blocks give rise, they are attached, like different blocks are attached to each other in a chain form, like this blockchain. Now, the strength of this system is that none of these blocks can be repeated. Every block is different. It is different in the sense that it is tracking each and every transaction, each and every new information. And so once a new block gets filled up with new transactions, new information, it gets attached to a chain, and you cannot separate any block. Like, you cannot cut off from the middle. You cannot take any block out of the chain, because everything is that, like, the last block and the last transaction in this block and the first transaction in the next block is interdependent. So this is how this blockchain technology is working, and it is immutable. It is immutable. It cannot be. Nothing could be deleted. Nothing could be repeated, and everything is stored in this decentralized ledger system, which is accessible by anybody, and through this, every transaction is taking place. So again, like, there are people working in the background, and nothing is done for free. When they're doing that, they started to do this as a challenge. Like, there are hackers, and they challenge the system that we have, just because they want to challenge themselves. So like that here, there are miners who are working to get, earlier it used to be in terms of Bitcoin, so now they get rewarded in terms of more Bitcoins, etc. Now, this kind of technology, this blockchain technology that I just went over, is really strong in the sense, because nothing could be deleted, nothing could be repeated, or could be like, it could not be hacked. Everything that every transaction, every information that goes in stays there, and that's why this technology is used for contracts. I've heard people have used this technology to get married, to have their marriage agreement over there, just because it's nobody can claim that, oh, this was not discussed. Yes, I mean, everything stays there. So that's why blockchain technology is getting very popular, and it is used in different spheres as well. So yes, the blockchain technology, or this technology cannot be hacked, but the exchanges and digital wallets, those could be hacked, and there have been a lot of instances of hacking. So we need to be very, very careful about who we give information to, because nowadays scammers are getting too smart, and they're asking for codes, and trying to act as if you're getting a message from your bank. But we have to be very, very careful, because then you can lose money, you can lose all your Bitcoins, whatever. And Bitcoins are super expensive, I'll show you. So there is hacking possible in the exchanges, because for laymen like us, we cannot, we can use Bitcoin for trading. We can use Bitcoin just like we do, we pay by Apple Pay, or we use Google Pay to pay something. We can use any sort of exchange like that and just make the payment by Bitcoin. But we're not even going into all those details. That is really what is happening at the background. So we are going to work through exchanges, and that's why we have to be very careful. So what does this Bitcoin do? So it's a peer-to-peer digital cash. So there is no middleman in between. There is no need for any bank. And it can also reach the population who are not even banking. So in US, it's difficult to understand this situation because most of us have bank accounts, but there are countries where they don't have belief in the government, a trust in the government and the banks, and they have the chances of losing money. I read one of the crypto crypto firm owner. I forgot his name, but he was from Argentina, and he's based in California now. But he said that he really liked this kind of movement, and he was following this crypto movement just because growing up he saw how his parents lost money in Argentina, because the government just took away the money. So when there is less trust in the banking system, then they don't want to keep money in the bank. So then crypto, since it has no government involvement, it can reach that straight of the population if they have phones. Like if they can use their phones, they can also trade in crypto. It's transparent again. Like you see, it's challenging government involvement, that it's transparent, that it does not require there's no bureaucracy, and it's decentralized and it's open source, so anybody can go and view any of those transactions. Again, separating money from the state, and it's also was hyped to be a digital gold investment, thinking that whenever we have less trust on the fiat currency, on paper money, we've seen like gold has been one of the very, very strong investment item, where it has some intrinsic value. It has this like value of its own, and it has never lost its value. So it's still one of the very, very strong in the type of investment, and this was hyped to be a digital gold investment, but it did not pass all the tests, but it was hyped to be. And also this could be thought of as an anti-fragile asset class, where the value of Bitcoin's value of crypto will be stronger, will rise when there is more uncertainty in the market. And that has been true during COVID times, when there was a lot of uncertainty and there was some extra cash, and at that time only we saw Bitcoin being very, very popular. But the downside is the Bitcoins can foster illegal money laundering activities, and it has been done in the past, where there was a website called Silk Road, where things were, out of many things, drugs were bought and sold. And so there could be money laundering, criminal transactions, and that could be through crypto. And because the government doesn't have the power to regulate crypto market, so it can. That's the downside. It can foster the criminal activities. So let's look at the price. The price, how crypto has performed since. Let me show you this. Yeah. So this is I'll go back to that slide. But this one, if we look at if you want to see how the Bitcoin market has performed, you see that there was not much happening until 2017, 2018. Before that, since Bitcoin's creation, the price of Bitcoin did not increase as much. But there used to be Bitcoin transactions taking place in that community, but it was not gaining popularity. And then in 2017, there were some firms, including JP Morgan Chase, they saw credibility in this market, in this kind of currency, and started having faith in that, putting their trust and saying that they will they will trade in Bitcoins, or PayPal saying that they will accept Bitcoins as currency. Tesla said that, and all that, now Elon Musk, yeah, I mean, who knows what he says, but at that time he said, this is the best thing that ever happened. And whenever things like that happens, there is more speculation, more expectation put on this this new currency, and things started to see, we saw some activity since then. But it was not until the COVID times that we saw the actual the crypto market gaining a lot of popularity. And so let me go back and tell you. So today's price, so last time I checked, it was $27,151.40. That was at 3 p.m. Bitcoin is very, very volatile. It is very the price changes quite a bit during a particular day, as much as 10%, 15%. The highest price. Before that, that's why I time-stamped it, because if you check now, it might be different, just because it fluctuates quite a bit. The highest price ever reached was 68,991. That was in November 2021. Now, this I really found interesting. This, you already saw the graph, but this is really interesting that it took 10 years to reach the 20,000 mark, which was in December 15, 2020. Now, but it took only 17 days to reach another 10,000. Okay, so at least in 17 days, it reached the 30 grand mark. 5 days, it reached 40 grand, and then 50 grand next in the following month, a little more than a month. And then so highest price ever was 68 grand, 68.9 grand. But this was the this kind of increase kept happening until April 13th. After that, there was a fall, and then it reached back up again to this all-time high on November 2021. Okay, so this is that highest point ever. So now, then it started fluctuating, going down, and today it's hovering around, close to 30,000. Now, Bitcoin is not the only kind of cryptocurrency. With that 9-page paper, it all started. This crypto world started. But I saw some documentaries where they said there was always, in the community, or there were. In the past, from 1990s, there has been trials. There have been tests to introduce this kind of digital currency, but it has not gained much strength. But until Bitcoin happened, and with that, then some other cryptocurrencies started, popping up. And if last time I checked, there was more than 1,700 cryptocurrencies. Actually, sorry, no, 3,400 cryptocurrencies in like active ones. But we don't know, most of them don't even work. Why? Because it's very easy to come up with a cryptocurrency. And this is the example. One such example is this Dogecoin, which is still an active coin. You can trade in Dogecoin, which looks like this. And this was a meme coin where, as I said, if it was so easy to create your own coin. So in 2013, there were two software engineers working one in Australia and one in US probably. I forgot. So they were, they just wanted to, make fun of this crypto coins. And they came up with this meme coin called Dogecoin, because at that time, this Doge dog was in the news, and bitcoins were in the news. So they've kind of created this two together, named it Dogecoin. And Elon Musk one time said, "Oh, this is like, this is great," and Dogecoin price started going up. Now you would see like it's hovering around $1, but still people buy Dogecoin. I mean, I don't know for what reason, but it's a meme coin, and it was created out of a joke. So when I started learning about bitcoins, I was, from an economist angle, I was intrigued by this new currency that was coming up, and I wanted to know if it can substitute our dollar bills, like the money that is issued by the government. So any money has so the creation of money was happened to eradicate this double coincidence of want, because at the like long time back, when trade happened, we used to trade in goods for goods. But then it was becoming too complicated, because when a lot of goods came around, and so money was created to help in this process as a medium of exchange. Now then, there was a lot of it went through a lot of different periods, and sometimes it was tagged to gold, which was again stopped. And then we came into this world of fiat currencies, where it's stamped by the government. So money, anything that classifies as money, needs to meet these three functions. First, to be a medium of exchange, then to be a unit of account where people can post prices and record that. So that's why we post it in terms of dollars. And then when you keep it for future, you can get purchasing power in the future as well. So gold, for example, so gold can meet all of these functions, and it can criteria, and it has this strongest store of value. It never can go decrease. It can never see a decline in value. But can Bitcoin be that money? Because that was what was that question was really bothering me, because I'll talk about El Salvador, which has it had its own currency, which was not functioning at all. So they adopted dollar only. But then in 2021, they adopted Bitcoin as their currency. So that was that's the first country to adopt it as money. So I was intrigued, like, why would they do that? Because if you're paying for any good through Bitcoin or any like as I said, Bitcoin is so volatile. Like the value of Bitcoins changes so much during a particular day. So if I am buying or I'm paying with Bitcoin, like you can pay in PayPal. You can. Last I know, Starbucks used to accept Bitcoin. When I get for invitation for my for a kid's birthday party, there's like, oh, do you want to send Bitcoin as gift? Like this is this is what we come across. So of course, one Bitcoin is $27,000. So that's, you're not going to gift one Bitcoin. Like that's, owning one Bitcoin is also super pricey. But uh, but if I want to pay for my coffee using Bitcoin instead of dollars, if you understand where I'm coming from, like what? So you're so when we are paying for coffee, let's say $3, we pay that price morning, noon, night. But if we are paying by Bitcoin, then the value, so that $3, in Bitcoin, that Bitcoin value, if that is volatile, that is changing, that is different value during different times of the day, then the price that I'm paying through Bitcoin for my coffee is different. So I have no idea how that is even possible, and how El Salvador is doing that for 2 years now. And then again, it will be very difficult to keep tabs for prices and trade, because the unit of account is also going to get messy. Yes, now if you keep it, like, yes, I'm all for store of value. I always will suggest that, you, if you want, you can always keep Bitcoins, in an exchange. You keep it and keep it for future, because you never know. There is a lot of following for this kind of market, this kind of world. So it's not going anywhere. I'm tracking this for 2 years now. Yes, there's a lot of fluctuations in value. There are scams happening. So there are stories around it, but it's not going anywhere. So if you want to invest, just keep it and forget about it for 5 years. Let's see what happens. But again, I mean, not that you invest a lot. I mean, whatever, like a small amount, just to see, the store of value. So mining, as I was saying, is the energy intensive process that creates new coins and updates the digital ledger of the transactions of existing tokens. So the blockchain technology, all that transaction, when a new transaction is happening, that is creating new Bitcoins. That transaction is creating new Bitcoins, and this is that mining process. And people do that for earning Bitcoins, and it has become very popular in US, where states are competing to provide mining facilities. But this also baffles me, where the whole idea of this crypto world was to challenge the government, but now government is all about engaging in this process and investing in this mining process, giving crypto companies land to build mining towers and all that. But it is the reason China kicked them out was, it's because it's a very energy intensive process, and the lot of electricity is used, because in this, when this process is happening, it needs lot. It is using like these supercomputers, and it takes up a lot of energy. And so I read an article that where in a small town in Tennessee, they built this mining facility, and the people living around it now hate it, because there's always this noise that is generated from that facility, because there's so much energy that is required, and it's creating so much heat that you need like really large fans to keep that place cool. And so it's always that noise that's keeping them awake in the middle of the night, and they hate it. So I'm still like, I don't know why. What do they see? Like, what states see in terms of gain? They want crypto companies to come and do business there, and build these mining facilities. But I don't know how they're justifying that investment. Um, So one thing, when you engage in this kind of crypto bit, like exchange in digital currency and all that. So again, it was created to, as I said, to, like, you are in full control of your money, of your transaction. You don't have to pay, you don't have government controlling the central bank, Fed, and Fed controlling, have an oversight on your bank, on your accounts. But the downside of it is that when you have full control of that, you have to really have full control. So, um, so two things happen. So there are many, like still now, I think 20% of total Bitcoins are unclaimed, and some of those because they've either been hacked or people could not get hold of them. Why? Because when you are storing your information, like you're working with any exchange, there is, so that's the thing. Exchanges make your wallets vulnerable, because it could be password protected, but yeah, you have to remember your password, and most of the times those passwords are really very complicated. And back in the day, before the exchanges, when their miners used to do these in small scale, they used to get rewarded as in Bitcoins, which now with the value of Bitcoins, nobody would do that. But at that time, as you could see, until 2017, there was hardly any value of Bitcoin. So the guy, Stephen Thomas, he's from Germany, oh sorry, Switzerland, and now he's based in US. But he made a he was asked to make educational video regarding crypto, just like I'm doing, but he had more expertise in the terms of the technicalities. So he did that, and he got rewarded um, with 7,002 Bitcoins. So just imagine, with today's value, today if it is close to 28,000. So if you calculate that number, that the value of that many Bitcoins is almost 200 million. But when the value of Bitcoin increased to 68,000, you can do the calculation how much it had increased. But so at that time, he got those Bitcoins and he kept them secured in you can say like an USB drive called a digital key or something. And it had such high level of security that that the password was also like a 20-digit, complicated password, just numbers, numerical password. And he forgot. He wrote it on a piece of paper and could not find the paper yet. It has been like 10 years now. He has 2 more tries left. Otherwise, he has not been able to claim those Bitcoins yet. But if he loses, if he cannot use those 2 tries, then it all goes back to wherever. Like, he would not get to use them. So he lost all of that. And I read again I wanted to get an update on this today, and saw that he hasn't even gotten them yet. And he's in peace with it. And now he owns several crypto companies, but he's losing this kind of a fortune. And the other one is this guy from Wales, who used to do mining for as a hobby, and he gained 7,500 Bitcoins during that time. And it was also around that time, 2013 to 14 only. So he stored it in an external hard drive. And when he was cleaning his desk, he put it in trash, and his wife took the trash, and it landed in sewer. And this is in Wales, and he has tried to, talk to the municipal authority to give him permission to go and look for the stuff in this, where the sewer, whatever that area, but he did not get permission to do that, and his whole life has gone um, through a lot of, I mean, has become very messy. He got, he lost his peace of mind, and I think it's a New Yorker article on him, like how he lost his fortune. Um, he got divorced and lost his family and all that. So that's really, two kinds of stories that stands out from not being able to hold on to their or not being able to remember their passwords. Um, Now, the top crypto exchanges are these where you can have accounts and engage in crypto trade. Uh, then I wanted to touch upon this El Salvador situation where uh, they adopted Bitcoin as currency 2 years ago, and this was due to their young president, whose picture is on the slide. So he was one of those very tech savvy Twitter kind of like very um, hip kind of guy, and he wanted to bring this change. And but El Salvador, it's surprising because 70% of the population didn't have a bank account, and then half of its citizens even have like an internet connection. So if you want to have an digital currency, you have to convert these people, and you have to make them adopt this um, digital currency. Like, so instead of them paying just by cash, because that's how they had done transactions before, now you are making them do it through their phone. So you need internet connection, and also they installed like a lot of ATM machines where they would churn out bitcoins, and they did all that infrastructure stuff, but still it's very confusing for a country like this to adopt bitcoins. But he's all about there's a place called Bitcoin Beach over there where Bitcoin supporters, like thinkers, they go and have conference over there, they party over there just because it's there's they want to think freely, and they can think and they can change the world with this new currency system. And but I wanted to check again what is the current situation with the Bitcoin scenario, and in El Salvador. I got two completely contradictory articles. One where it said that in March that they had been able to pay back $800 million of bonds, so debt, through Bitcoin investment, um, and they're heavily invested on Bitcoins. Every day they buy one Bitcoin. So imagine, like, for a country to be so much invested in Bitcoin. But then I read another article where it was saying how this thing has failed. So we'll have to wait a little more to see what really happens. This is in pop culture, like how um, invested they are in Bitcoin, that El Salvador's participant in Miss Universe pageant had this attire. So I so I think last thing I would mention is that why Bitcoin became so much popular during the COVID times. It's because people had at that time it was very uncertain, and then Also, people were sitting at home and had time to venture into other things, but they also were getting stimulus checks and could not travel and do the usual activities, so they had money to invest. And as things were really uncertain, so people, instead of investing in regular channels, they thought that this would be a good avenue for investment. And so that led to that supply of funds, that extra cash that they had in hand helped increase the demand for bitcoins. And but this has slowed down from last year, because as we know, inflation has been really high. Last year around this time it was 9%, 40-year high, and then it has gone down since last year to this 3% now, but still things are expensive. But so compared to last year, it has gone down, and that's because of this extra cash that got into the economy. People had all this money, and then they had to they wanted to spend them, so that increased inflation. But then Fed had also taken action to curb inflation and by increasing interest rate, and that had diminished the demand for bitcoins. This one is in news quite a bit, because so just like Binance and all that other exchanges, I said FTX was a company, it was an exchange created by this Harvard graduate, or I don't remember if he even graduated, but he's one of these smart kid who founded this company. And both his parents are law professors in Stanford University, and they are in news quite a bit today, just because they've also played quite a bit in this scenario. So he's in jail right now. He founded this company, but then there was a lot of money laundering stuff that went on, and he's awaiting a trial. Like he's going on trial in October. Now, this happened last year in November, where it was in a 10-day period. This company went went bust, and because they were using people's, again, it was money laundering. They were using people's money to fund different investments that could be termed as insider trading. And when people invested in FTX, they could buy, just like Bitcoins, FTX's own currency was FTT. So people would get discounts if they invested in FTT, and and so they were really illegally channeling funds from one firm to the other, and basically using up people's money illegally. So that's going on. And so really, I mean, this is really mind-boggling, that how a company can go down in just a matter of 10 days. So I touched upon many things. I hope I was able to give you some kind of overview or more than that on Bitcoins. If you have any questions, please let me know.